new education policy 2020 is what is known as what is they're calling as Indian knowledge systems. And by introducing that, when it came to implementation of the policy, they are introducing various things and instructions are coming to all institutions, all universities to introduce courses on Indian knowledge systems. To the extent that sometime back the UGC has proposed a change in the mathematics curriculum, and one third of the mathematics course is Indian knowledge systems. How much mathematics will they learn? But what are they bringing as Indian knowledge systems is basically a collection of unscientific ideas. It has been said in the morning that the Prime Minister himself said there was uh, cosmetic surgery, plastic surgery, because they had the ability of placing an elephant head on a human torso. Not only that, the erstwhile education minister, Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank, when he was not the education minister, he was just a member of parliament, he said on the floor of the parliament that the present development of astronomy is only a dwarf in comparison to the Vedic astrology. Trivendra Singh Rawat, the chief minister of Uttarakhand, he said that cow is the only animal that exhales oxygen. The chief minister of Tripura, Biplab Dev, he said there was internet and television during the time of Mahabharata because how else could Sanjay keep the running commentary of the war? Now notice, these things, they are saying not just loose comments. There was a international, it was said to be international, but it was mainly national, webinar on Indian knowledge systems in IIT Kharagpur in the month of November of 2020, where they clearly stated, the minister was present there, the director of IIT Kharagpur was present there, they said clearly that these should be the subjects of research in institutions like IITs. These are things that should be taught. Now, these are coming. A part of our resistance should be resisting wherever these are being introduced. And therefore, there has to be a clear understanding regarding why these are wrong, unscientific. One important factor of the people's education policy is that in place of this unscientific education policy, we are demanding the introduction of a secular, scientific, democratic education. What is scientific? If I say in one sentence, it will say, don't believe anything without evidence. Just one sentence summarizes what a scientific bent of mind is. Therefore, whenever something is being taught or introduced in the curriculum that contradicts evidence, we should resist. But unfortunately, over the period of educating the present generation, the way they have been educated, they cannot really distinguish between what is true, what is false. That is one thing that we have to introduce. For example, one can question, is it not possible that really there were aeroplanes in the Vedic skies? Is it not really possible that there was stem cell research that brought into life a person like Kern? That is what the Prime Minister claimed, that Kern's birth was due to stem cell research. It's not really possible. It's not really possible that the elephant head could be at that time placed on the head. So all these things, just consider a couple of points. Has anybody ever claimed that there were aeroplanes in the Vedic skies before Wright brothers invented the aeroplane? Never. And in all these instances, nobody said anything about those technologies before the technologies were invented in the present time. Secondly, any of these technologies, these are all technologies, not really science, require background science. For example, making of an aeroplane needs want to know about aerodynamics, hydrodynamics, internal combustion engines, therefore thermodynamics, and all that theoretical knowledge. Only when the theoretical knowledge is developed to such an extent can a aeroplane be made. People are claiming there were airplanes, but nobody has claimed that one knew second law of thermodynamics. Has anybody claimed? No. And moreover, if there were such technologies, there was some evidence in the archaeological sites. Maybe if airplanes existed, a propeller may be found in somewhere. Maybe if you dig Kurukshetra, for example, you find a piece of that Brahmastra. Nobody has found it. So the point is, we have to point these out wherever these things are being taught in the name of Indian knowledge systems. One important point is coming: Vedic mathematics. The new education policy is introducing Vedic mathematics as a part of mathematics curriculum. Important. Firstly, very important people like Professor J.V. Narlikar or Professor S.G. Dani, very important mathematicians and scientists, they have clearly stated what is being touted as Vedic mathematics is neither Vedic nor mathematics. Why is it not Vedic? Because in the Vedic times, the numbers were different. The number 0 and the place value system came into existence after the Vedic period. The Vedic period is said to be around 1500 BC to around 600 BC. And the first evidence of 0 and place value system we begin to see around the 2nd century, 3rd century. And therefore, it cannot be Vedic. And if you see any book on Vedic mathematics that has 0 in it, just point out. It cannot be Vedic. Why is it not mathematics? Because these are nothing but shortcut calculational techniques, but mathematics is a way of thinking. It is not just a calculational technique. And moreover, if you really look through it, you will find that some calculational technique that works for 6 does not actually work for 7. For each number, you have to know a separate formula. It doesn't work as mathematics. The point is, the other point we have to be clear about. They are claiming that India in the past had very high knowledge. Yes, in various fields, India did contribute commendably, and we are proud of it. And we think that should be known to people as a matter of history. History of science, yes, people should know. People should know that 0 and base value systems were a large area that included India, were developed here. Algebra developed here. Trigonometry developed here. Much of astronomy developed here. Yeah, we are proud of it, true. But we should not tell the students with anything without evidence. Whatever we are saying, we have evidence. It is true that Aryabhatta was the first person who saw that the Earth is spinning around its own axis. So we are proud of it. But the question is, should we teach astronomy from Aryabhatta? Should we teach trigonometry from Brahmagupta? Should we teach? No. Why not? The same reason that when you learned in school about Newton's laws, did you read Principia Mathematica? Do we teach from Principia Mathematica? No, we don't. When you learned chemistry, did you read Lavoisier? You didn't. When you learned, so point is that when these people discovered those things, invented those things, they did not write with the eye for teaching the students. Later, teachers accumulated that and expressed that in a form that is appropriate for pedagogical purposes. And we teach that. Moreover, we teach the latest knowledge in that particular field. What Newton said is not the latest. After that, Newtonian mechanics has also developed. We say that, we convey that. And that is why we should not teach from these ancient writings. Nowadays, there is a plan of reintroducing Lilavati, Bhaskaracharya's book, Lilavati, as a text material. It is just a collection of problems. It is just a collection of puzzles, mathematical puzzles. It cannot be taught. In fact, it used to be taught, and Vidyasagar himself stopped teaching Lilavati. Why? He said that it's not really useful as a teaching material. So the point is, what we are proposing through the people's education policy is a complete change in the way we convey science. We have to give students a scientific bent of mind. Scientific bent of mind means a rational way of thinking, being able to reason, being able to distinguish between truth and falsehood, being able to see wherever a false statement is coming. So all these things, all these abilities we have to convey to the students. We have to impart in the students. We have to create a nation where even a rickshaw puller, when he is sitting idle, he will be reading books. We have to create a nation where the person who is rowing a boat will be able to see the action of the Archimedes principle. So it is not only for the purpose of getting a job, it's purpose of being able to think. Education should make people education able to think. Thank you very much. Thank you for clarity.